You and I talked, bro, and I remember like casually catching up and you're like, yeah, I don't know, like 50, 60,000 a month in life business. And I was like, bro, people dream about that.
No one is going to be the top agent if they're just sitting there dialing. You have to break out of what everyone else is doing. You're not doing what the other 95% of people do. I had a $23 in my bank account. I had a $900 car. My tires were literally balding. No radio, no air conditioning. I showed up every day at 7:30 a.m. with a suit and tie and just acted as if, bro. I just worked my ass off. These guys were pulling up in Phantoms, Lexus trucks, BMW trucks, G-Wagons to the office, and I'm literally driving there in a $900 car with $23 in my account, cold calling 700 people a day because I had to make it, bro. I did not have a choice. I'm battle hardened, dude. I'm built for this.
A lot of people that I talk to are like, dude, how do I get to 20, 30,000 a month? But like you're talking about like 60, 70, 100,000 a month. Like, how are you doing that? What is going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Life Insurance Telesales Mastery Podcast. I'm your host, Johnny Nitafan, and in today's episode, we have an absolute superstar. Most likely, you've probably never heard of this guy. This dude runs under the radar, but it's absolutely crushing, doing, I don't know, 60 to 70,000 a month, literally from home. Life Insurance Telesales, which is absolutely crushing. Sebastian, dude, welcome to the podcast, man.
Thanks for having me, brother. Much appreciated. Happy to be here.
Of course, man. It's cool because what's insane is that you and I talked, bro, and I remember like just casually catching up or just like kind of getting to know each other, and you're like, yeah, I don't know, like I'm focused on health, but do I don't know, 50, 60,000 a month in life business. And I was like, bro, people dream about that, dude. Did you start in life insurance or did you start in health insurance?
I started in health, bro. I started at a captive agency right out of college. A lot of my older friends were crushing it, working in captive agencies, doing um like some really specialty niche products, man. They have a cool market. The first company that I went to go work for, we won't say the name, but they basically target like healthy, wealthy individuals, and they have some great products for the right fits for sure, without a doubt. But yeah, man, I started in health and I did health. I still do health, obviously, but before I really added the life catalog into my book, I did health for about 4 years straight, just straight up health, no life at all.
Okay, so you started in health and obviously you still do health. Why'd you add life insurance to your business?
I think that as you're an agent and you're talking to hundreds of people, and then you essentially convert them into your book, and now you have a book of 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 people, like I have amassed for myself over the last 6 years. A lot of people are always reaching out, like, "Hey, Sebastian, do you have Medicare? Do you have life?" Right? Like, you're just always gonna get those, and I'm like, man, like these are already clients that I've converted. I'm not a captive agent. Why wouldn't I add these extra lines to my profile and my repertoire and help them too? Because it's just free money at that point. What do I have to do? Just get through contracting, learn a quick product, and then just be able to, present it compliantly and do the customer service. So, I went looking for some life contracts about 24 months ago, 18 to 24 months ago. And I'm very happy that I did, man, because, it's been a lot of additional income on top of, what I've been previously doing.
It's awesome, dude. Um, are you just pretty much like using life insurance primarily as a cross sell, or are you like actually working life insurance leads?
Both. So for the right, so I basically sell some really niche products. I like the critical illness products built off the back of life insurance companies because you kind of get the best of both worlds, right? A standalone critical illness product from a health insurance IMO or FMO, you're most likely going to see commissions in the range of, like a 6 month advance, 20, 30, 40, 50%.
Yeah.
But for the life, you can get much higher if you know the right people and how to contract, who to go out. Like, you really need to know people to get the right contracts and talk to the people who are really the real guys, right? There's like the guys that everyone thinks are the real guys, and like the stuff in the industry like where you think the real guys, and then there's the actual real guys. Like, you got to go to the actual real guys. So
How do you
um
find them?
Same way I found you, man, getting out there. Go to conferences, network on social media. When you see people just like you and I do, hit them up, collaborate with them. You know, not everyone's going to be your friend, but it's always good to just get on people's radars and let them know you're working too. Um, as far as but yeah, so I do a lot of cross-selling. I essentially sell critical illness policies that are offered from life insurance IMOs, so you get that commission level of the life insurance, the 70s, 80s, 90s, hundreds, 100 pluses, but you get the benefits where it's not so much a life insurance policy like a term life with living benefits or something like that, which most of the ones are doing. It's an actual standalone critical illness policy, but it's just offered through a life IMO. So they're willing to just give you a little bit more money on the advance because they have the data, they have the persistency, they know what the LTV of the client's going to be on that back end.
Do you sell both, or are you selling a life like a term life express with the living benefits and term? Like, are you just selling that, or are you selling like that plus a critical illness?
No, no, never that, never that. So like what you're saying, like a TLE type deal, that would be a term life with living benefits. If I was gonna pitch that product, which I don't sell TLE from Mutual of Omaha. Um, I would just sell them a straight up standalone critical illness policy. I wouldn't do the TLE and then a critical too. That's kind of double dipping. I don't think that that's ethical if you're gonna, unless you really just tell them, hey, like, I don't think anybody would ever need a term life insurance policy and a critical illness policy unless they're just willing to just spend so much money for the sake of having like every single, a base covered if they were ever to get in some type of catastrophe, if you will.
Yeah, that's it, dude. Um, bro, you're super talented in terms of like doing all this personally, like personal production, bro. Like, what goes into that? Because a lot of people that I talk to are like, dude, how do I get to 20, 30,000 a month? But like you're talking about like 60, 70, 100,000 a month. Like, how are you doing that?
So
Like, let's start with your day. Like, what's your typical day look like to be able to be a top producer?
I think any top producer, no matter what company you work for, I think you need 20 booked appointments on your calendar. I think that that's the sweet spot. Like just to get to like where people are looking at your numbers, like how's he doing it? 20 booked appointments. Like think about that, right? If I have 20 people that went out of their way and went through my funnel and booked an appointment, think about how many people have been like how many people heard about me or how many people have seen my stuff at that point. If somehow, some way at that top of the funnel, I'm driving them down through to where they're on the calendar. There's 20 people on the calendar, right? Hundreds, right? Hundreds of people are seeing my stuff, or hundreds of people are hearing about me, or hundreds of people are telling people about me, right? Like I'm not prospecting from zero, I'm marketing from level 10, right? I've
Yeah.
been doing this for so long. And what I'll say, and I think that this is going to be a little gem, my definition of marketing, and it's different than prospecting, right? A lot of people are just
Yeah.
like, from zero, I'm going to buy all these leads, then I'm going to drip them out, or I'm going to start reaching out to them. I'm going to cold call them. I'm going to go knock on their door, right? It's impossible to close 10 deals in one day if you're doing it like that. But if you have, marketing out there and you're paying for optimization like how you offer, um, you have a gigantic book of clients over 5, 6 years, and every single time they call you for something, you're telling them to send you more referrals. You're collaborating and getting in front of strategic partnerships and other agents that don't do what you do. They're referring you over deals now too, and you're their guy and you're doing split commissions with them or sharing commissions with them. I mean, you really got to break the mold and get outside of the box if you want to be the best, man. You've got to do everything. It's not about just doing one thing, right? No one is going to be the top agent if they're just sitting there dialing. You have to break out of what everyone else is doing. I'm reading this book right now, 5 a.m. Club, and what's the guy's name? Robin Sharma. He says that if you want to be the top 5%, then you're not doing what the other 95% of people do. You're doing different things. So I think it's really about just creating your own rules, breaking the mold, obviously staying compliant, obviously, not putting yourself or any clients in harm's way, but really just figuring out how far you can take it, dedicating yourself to greatness and just pushing, man. Push, push, push every day. Get up, put the work in. I don't care if you're having a bad day. Get up and go get it, man. Like if you deserve it, if you want it, if you believe it, you got it. So That's kind of my my overall philosophy. That's how I became a top producer and how I managed to be a top producer that creates top producers.
So were when you were like starting out, were you starting to um set your own appointments for the next day,
Of
or
course,
like
yeah, of course.
how'd that work when you're just
Okay, so I've done everything, right? When I was a brand new agent, right? My first year, I would buy leads, right? I loved next gen. That was my thing. I love next gen. I would spend in the beginning, I had to dial, right? I had $23, Johnny. When I got, and like, I don't come from money. I drive $100,000 sports car now that I'm my 6 month in the industry. But when I got into this industry, I had a car that I bought for 900 bucks. Okay. It was a Honda. It was a 2000
$900?
$900 car, bro.
Holy cow.
In 2018, Johnny.
I don't even know if my car could sell for 900 bucks.
So I had a $900 car in 28. Think about this. This was 5.5 years ago, dude. Almost six, this was 6 years ago. I had $23 in my bank account. I have the screenshot. And I had a car that had no air conditioning, no radio, and the tires, I'll send you pics after we get off the Zoom. The tires, you could literally, I'll show you, you could I don't know if your editor can throw them in there, but we can maybe even post them.
Yeah, that'd be
I,
sick.
I had a $23 in my bank account. I had a $900 car, a 2000 Honda. It might even be a 99 Honda, to be honest with you. It was the year 2018, okay? And I had my tires were literally balding. I will send you no radio, no air conditioning. Tires were balding. I showed up every day at 7:30 a.m. with a suit and tie and just acted as if, bro. I just worked my ass off. These guys were pulling up in Phantoms and you know, Lexus trucks, BMW trucks, G-Wagons to the office, and I'm literally driving there in a $900 20-year-old car with $23 in my account, cold calling 700 people a day because I had to make it, bro. I did not have a choice.
So then what happened, dude? So you're calling those like crazy, and then you start getting some momentum, and then what?
I was so hungry, man. I was literally so hungry. Everyone just saw my
I'm still here.
yeah, everybody saw my work ethic, so people started helping me out, dude. They were like, bro, this guy dials 750 dials a day. He's coming in on Sundays, he's coming in on Saturdays. I slept at the office one time, and these guys are like, dude, this we gotta help this kid. We gotta get him his states. And shout out to G, he knows who he is. He got me my start. He's the one who bought me my states. He saw how hungry I was. He saw I was crushing it. I was running a ton of deals. Running is you know what running is, or have you seen so a lot of
Running
mhm.
in what way?
Running deals is like when you're just a flat out prospector. You don't have all your licenses yet. You just have your single state and you're just helping prospecting, but you can't pitch the products yet because you're not licensed. So you have to run a deal to a licensed agent and then, they help you in some which way later down the road because you help them with the deal, right? So I was running deals in the beginning, just trying to get my start. And I was so hungry. I was running so many people deals that one day they were like, we got to just get this kid his states. He's ready to go. He paid his dues. So G, shout out to G, he knows who he is. He got me my states and then it was off to the races, man. I had enough money. I made probably, I don't know, it was a very small amount of money. I might maybe made 5 or 6 grand my first month, which back then for me was more money than I had ever seen in my life. Um so I did that, and then I bought I had my states. I was paying them back 20% every check, and I started writing, dude. I started buying leads. I had learned the products by then. I was a few months in, and I started buying a lot of next gen. So back then I would dial all day, 700 dials. I would probably schedule 3 or 4 appointments a day, maybe 5 appointments a day off those 700 dials.
Wow, that's it?
Yeah, yeah.
Were they like, how old
Leads
were
were
those
beat up.
leads?
These leads were beat up penny leads, dude. I have no idea. Honestly, they were beat up penny leads. They weren't, shared leads. They weren't, dollar,
Jeez, man.
$3, What's that?
That's crazy. But you got to
Yeah,
start somewhere. So
it
wait,
was
keep going.
insane,
Keep going
dude.
though.
My first few weeks working in this industry, bro, I would get excited if somebody picked up the phone. That's how little people I talk to every day. Like if I just talk to somebody, I was like, oh my God, dude, I'm talking to somebody. This is it. I'm gonna schedule the appointment. And 10 times out of 10, I would do every single thing to stand out in the beginning of that call. Like literally, the guys who told me, they were like, look, bro, these are penny leads. They're terrible. So literally sit up straight in your desk like this. And when they pick up, get ready to stand out and let them know that you're really trying to help them and get the appointment scheduled, right? Or go right into the pitch right there. Start talking about their situation. Start seeing what they have. Start seeing if you can find a way in to compare. Right. So I literally, with my both feet on the floor planted, leaning forward with my headset on, my little $10 headset back then, I would literally be ready to jump right in. Hey, John, this is Sebastian. I'm reaching out regarding your health insurance policy. I saw that you were looking. Did you get it taken care of? There's new plans out there, right, John? And I would just, boom, just start working my way in, figure out what's what. And I started having success, man, because there wasn't another option for me. I needed it, right? I had $23 in my account and no place to live. I was living with my friends after college. Their parents let me live with them for a couple months while I got on my feet. My family moved away to another state. They were living in North Carolina. I went back down to South Florida because that's all I knew. And I made it happen, man. There was no excuses
Yeah.
for me, dude. I wasn't telling anybody any excuses. I was showing up and paying my fucking dues.
That's wild. That's
Yeah.
awesome to hear though, for sure. To be able to actually do that and accomplish that. 'Cause that's not easy, dude. And I think like
Hard,
there's a
man.
bulletproof mindset that you have that I think a lot of 92% of insurance agents fail in their first 3 years. I think it's because they don't have the dialed in bulletproof mindset that I'm gonna do literally whatever it takes. I don't care. People are like, dude, I made 200 dials today. It's like, did you even work, bro? Like what's going on, man? And so where did that come from? Like that hungry mentality that, dude, I don't even care what it's gonna take.
I don't know, man. I think everybody has a different appetite, right? It's the same reason why some people weigh 500 pounds and they can down 7 Big Macs, and some people are skinny and they eat healthy. I don't know what differentiates that. It's, nature or nurture, right? They were either born that way and genetically they were predisposed, or their environment somehow, some way shaped them and nurtured them into the choices that they made and the belief systems that they operate their life, out of.
Have you always like had that, or do you feel like that was something
Um,
that there was a moment that clicked for you?
I think that I've always, and still to this day, I think the older I get, the more that I identify with competition. I think that I've always been an incredibly competitive person. I think that I have a warrior spirit where I want to go to battle and figure out, like, who's the David and Goliath, right? Like I feel like David and I'm looking for Goliath at all times at this point in my life. And I love every story where, whether it's, Kobe Bryant's mentality, Michael Jordan's mentality, David and Goliath. I just love the underdog story. Rocky, it's just always really resonated with me. And I think I definitely look at myself from that perspective.
Yeah. That's huge, man. What are some self-development books or things that you've listened to really help shape that mindset for you?
So I don't know if you know this about me, but I'm an avid reader. Me and my good friend, shout out my brother Sam Millions, we actually have a book club right now. And
That's
you
dope.
can actually hop in it if you want, man. We'd love to have you.
Yeah,
I've
bro.
read probably close to 200 books. Sitting right off to the right of me. I can send you a picture of it too. I'll send you my bookcase. I've probably read 200 books in the last 5 years. And I'm constantly just scooping new books up. I buy a book or two every, week, month. Whenever somebody tells me, well, I just got 2 books this week, 3 books this week, I'm always just lining them up, man. I can get done pretty quickly. Shout out. I know you love Hermosi. I love him too. I use his method where, and it costs a little bit more now, so it's a luxury to do it like this, but anyone out there who's watching, and you want to get into personal development, you want to get into books, a lot of the PDFs are out there for free. You can find them. And then a lot of the audiobooks are out there for free as well. So if you get the PDF, you get the audiobook, you give yourself an hour a day, or less, 30 minutes, whatever you got, right? Whatever you can spare. Listen to the audiobook, read the PDF at the same time. If they're both free, it's literally, I don't think there's anything that keeps me on track. It not only helps you get better, but it keeps you better, right? I love personal development. I love,
What are
sales.
some of those two out of those 200 books? What are some of the top ones that stood out to you?
So my favorites, and the ones that I think stood out the most, Principles by Ray Dalio is probably my favorite book of all time.
Principles?
Principles by Ray Dalio. It's a huge book, dude. I mean, this guy is he's he's the CEO of a very, very large hedge fund, I believe. He's brilliant, man. I mean, I think he's probably one of the most brilliant minds in modern day culture. He owns he's a partner, or he owns it, or he's the CEO of a gigantic hedge fund.
Yeah. Bridgewater Associates.
There you go. Multi billion dollar guy. I mean, this guy, his brain, and that book, it's a scary book. It's probably not the first book I would recommend for somebody to read, because it's tumultuous. It's a great book. It's probably 600-700 pages. But
What else?
a little bit corny, man, but Think and Grow Rich, Napoleon Hill. I think that should be everyone's. If you're really getting into personal development, I think that should be your first one.
Yeah, I
That's
agree.
like that's like the manuscript, if you
It's
will,
like the
of
holy grail for personal
it.
development and business.
It is, man. I think that if you're gonna read one first, read Think and Grow Rich. I love both of Hermosi's books, man. I'm on the second one right now. It's right here. I love Hermosi, dude. I can't get enough of this stuff. Just as far as just the technicalities behind that book, man, his diagrams, just the amount of free value that guy gives away, dude. I mean, he is. I can't talk enough about him, dude. I'm such a fanboy. It's crazy. And I know you love him too. Those are probably my, I mean, three big ones that I could talk about right now. I've read a lot of spirituality stuff, like The Four Agreements is really good. The Richest Man in Babylon's really good. Um, Success Through Stillness by the CEO of Def Jam. I think he's under fire right now for some Me Too stuff, but he talks about like how he's really into meditation and yoga, and it's really helped him. I like that one. The Seven Spiritual Laws of Success by Deepak Chopra, amazing book.
That's
Uh,
good. What's the
for- for-
richest man in Babylon about?
it's kind of a fable about some guy back in the day that essentially was just dropping gems, right? It's kind of like in the style of have you read The Alchemist before by Paulo Coelho?
No.
Okay. That's a good one too if you want to check that one out. That's just it's about like the hero's tale. It's kind of like a modern day um
Like
uh,
David and
uh,
Goliath type story.
yeah, it's like a modern day Odyssey, if you will. It's about this like young poor farm boy who wants to find riches and like be a millionaire, and he back in that time or whatever, not millionaire, but you know what I mean, riches, and he goes on this journey and he's looking all around the world and he meets all these really cool people. He learns all these lessons and he ends up back where he started. And it was just like, the moral to that story is that the journey is everything. But The Richest Man in Babylon is a ton of different, so like you got the ancient Babylonians, and they had all these different laws of prosperity. So they would say like pay yourself first, don't trust a bricklayer to buy jewels, right? um don't put all your eggs in a single basket, control your expenses, always seek out knowledge, always seek out learning. So it's like it's kind of like a fable. It's not, I don't really think it's about anybody in particular. There's not like a protagonist in the book, but it does talk about all of the different little tidbits of information. I just love tidbits of information, man. I love proverbs. I love little gems here and
It's
there.
awesome, dude. Yeah, like I think the moral of the story is like, dude, you have an internal drive. It's like the very first principle of Think and Grow Rich is just having a burning desire. And I think if you have that, everything else will follow. right? One of my mentors once told me in the business, he's like, if you want to become fluent at Spanish, there's two types of people. One person chooses every day for 5 minutes, wakes up and opens up the Duolingo app and tries to memorize the Spanish and work on that. And then there's another person that flies to Mexico and lives there for 6 months. And it's
Yep.
which one are you going to do? You have to have
Yep.
full immersion to actually succeed, to make money, to be able to actually help a ton of people. And if you have that burning desire, no matter like, dude, when I was $15,000 in debt, I still had a burning desire that I was going to make it.
For
And then
sure.
in those times, like that's what kept me going because I knew that the circumstances were just temporary. What you have in your mind is everything, right? Well, you and I both could lose everything right now and probably get back to where we're at probably twice as fast. I would say way
For sure.
faster too.
Wait,
But
yeah, I think way fast. I think I could lose it all and get it back in a year if that were to happen.
yeah,
But
because it's all about the mindset, right? And so I think that's super powerful. Like what I've really taken from this, and ton of other people should take from this is like, hey, if you have the will to work, if you have the desire, if you have the skills and the knowledge, even if it takes, dude, 6 years to do 1 million in a year, right? Like even if it takes that long, bro, it's worth it because then you know there's probably not going to be another year where you don't at least clear like heavy six figures from now on. Like seven figures
yeah,
is the new standard. And so I think
yeah,
that's like that's just kind of how it goes, even if it takes that long time. And I think a lot of people aren't willing to be that patient.
that is it, man. I mean, it's not easy, and that's why no one does it, man. I mean, you have to absolutely look at yourself as a warrior to be able to endure the because it's all failures, man. Like no one wants to hear this. They say, "How do you get there?" Failure, man. Just get your ass kicked, get your ass handed to you. That's the only way. There's no shortcuts. Um, and there's no substitute for hard work, man. It's hard and it's stressful and there's times where you're miserable and there's times where you're sad. Like I love this video by Hermosi I saw the other day. He was like, my life really changed when I stopped trying to be happy. I became okay with the fact that I was not going to be happy. And yeah, there'll be little spurts of happiness, but if I can just avoid being miserable, then that's enough for me. And that's kind of my day to day, man. I mean, people don't want the problems I have, and they couldn't handle them. That's why they're not in the situation that I'm in. That's why certain people are not in the situation that you're in. Making a lot of money and becoming a top performing human being in your vocation or your career or whatever, your basketball team, it means that you're gonna have a lot, you're gonna carry a lot of weight on your shoulders, man. You're gonna have a lot of responsibilities that, you need to be able to respond to at all times, man. There's so many people that need my help. My payroll is unbelievable. When I tell people what my payroll is, they're like, "What the fuck, buddy?" Like that's crazy. But I'm all in, man. It's there's no excuses. There's no running away from it, man. I'm battle hardened, dude. I'm built for this shit.
You need to make more content, bro.
I am. I'm going to.
It's good, bro. It's
I
good.
appreciate
I
it,
think a
man.
lot of people definitely can relate to that. I mean, I'm just like, I'm fired up, bro. This is good stuff. Because I
Thank
think it's just like, bro, everybody starts somewhere, right? Like, if you're not where you want to be, like, that's okay. But if you just
Totally okay.
work, if you put in the work and you show up every single day and you choose that you're not going to quit, there's no way you fail. The only way you fail is if you quit. Like, that's the
Right.
reality.
That's the absolute reality, and I resonate with that all the time, man. The only way I fail, the only way I don't get where I'm going is if I give up completely. At some point, whatever I'm reaching for, I'm going to get it unless somebody legitimately disables me or I die. Like I'm going to get where I want to go constantly.
Yeah. Dude, that's awesome. Where can people follow, like, as we kind of finish this off, dude, where can people follow you for more of this stuff? And like, as you do post content more and more, like, where can people follow you on
Yeah.
your journey and reach out to
Um,
you?
Yeah, you could drop my IG in this, Johnny. It's just South Florida C. South Florida, underscore SEA, like the ocean.
Sweet, bro. Well, dude, appreciate you coming on here, dude. Appreciate your time and pouring into people that need this, right? Like, I feel like there's somebody out there that's gonna look at this and watch this and be like, dude, I resonate so much, bro. 23 bucks in the account, dude. Negative, probably. Like, dude, it's like struggling to get by. But if you have that burning desire, if you have the will to fight every single day and you show up and you master that art, there's no way that you fail. So appreciate
No
you
way.
again coming on here, dude. If you guys haven't already, subscribe to the channel right now. Share this with a friend if you found it valuable. Share it on your stories as well. We'd love to repost those and kind of see who's watching and following along. So if you haven't already, subscribe right now. Comment down below what you're going to take from this, and we'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.